Well, right now, I'm in a place where if you've watched this channel for any amount of time, it should be quite familiar to you. This is Berchtesgaden, Germany. You actually tell right where I'm at the old post office from this old mural back here. It's a pretty famous piece of footage that US soldiers shot right here in this very spot as they were moving through here at the close of the war in 1945. And like I said, we've been here a few times for History Traveler and American Artifact, but there is one annoying detail that I missed while I was here. There's lots of stuff to see here, but there's one detail that I missed in a particular spot that has just been driving me nuts. So we're gonna go check that out. I'm going to add a little bit to some of the past episodes, and then we're going to go take a look at a few other things. We have moved just outside of town to the local German military cemetery. And here in this cemetery, there are over 900 German soldiers and I think just over 50 German civilians who lost their lives during the Second World War. And it's also where a Luftwaffe general by the name of Gustav Kastner-Kierdorf is buried. Now, when we were here, we showed his grave and talked about it, but there was just something that wasn't clicking with me in the moment that I didn't even realize until I left this place. As I've already mentioned, we've already been to the cemetery and talked about some of the graves of the German soldiers who are here. And right here in row 9, grave number 2, right here in the snow today, is the grave of Luftwaffe General Gustav Kastner-Kierdorf. We'll just kind of brush this off a little bit. Well, no, it's frozen on there pretty tight. Never mind, we won't brush that off. But anyway, Kierdorf was a veteran of the First World War, served in the German Air Force during that conflict. After he got out of the military and then got back in 1934, was promoted to Major General in 1938, and was head of the Luftwaffe Personnel Office in 1939. He then got promoted to General in July of 1941, and in April of 1943, he became head of what was called the Office of Execution and Pardon Matters of the Luftwaffe. So you can imagine there towards the end of the war, this would not have been a great job to have because he would have been considering who gets executed and who does not. So this was between like October 43 and December 44. There were like 500 members of the Luftwaffe who were sentenced to death and executed. So as the Allies were making their way into Berchtesgaden on May 4th of 1945, well, Gustav Kastner-Kierdorf ended up committing suicide. Now, here is the connection that I failed to make when I was here last time. In his book, Beyond Band of Brothers, Dick Winters talks about finding a German general in the compound of Hermann Goering. Well, this is the general whose body he came across. In the series Band of Brothers, there's a scene where they get into the Eagle's Nest and they find a German officer who has committed suicide, and I guess that was supposed to kind of like loosely depict, this scene right here. But anyway, yeah, this is the final resting place of the general that Dick Winters found in Hermann Goering's compound. Now, as I'm sure you can tell from the snow that is on the ground, we are in the winter season here in Berchtesgaden. It's actually approaching Christmas time, and they actually have a Christmas market in town. So we're going to go back into the town of Berchtesgaden, look at a few other sites, maybe look at some of the Christmas market stuff that they have there, and also talk about an upcoming project that we have that is going to serve as kind of a spin-off from the History Underground. All right, we've moved into the town of Berchtesgaden now, and there are all kinds of things here in this town, in this area, that are connected with World War II, both during the Third Reich era and during the American occupation. So, for example, this restaurant right here, the Golden Bear, this was one of the restaurants that Hitler would frequent when he came to Berchtesgaden. As a matter of fact, they had a beer stein that was just for him that they kept in there, even though I don't think he drank beer. And if I'm not mistaken, that beer stein is on display in the museum at the documentation center. But anyway, got a few then and now shots that we're going to do right here in town. All right, so we're here in the middle of town, and this would have been a big destination for the German people during the Third Reich era. And there was a group of German soldiers, you can see, decided to get their picture by this fountain right here at some point during one of those visits. Now, you might be watching this and are wondering if I'm going to make it to the Eagle's Nest on this trip. The answer is no, because the Eagle's Nest is closed this time of year. But if we look way off in the distance, you can see it perched up there on top of the Couchstein. So anyway, there's your Eagle's Nest tour for this video. I've decided that the Christmas season is a great time to visit Berchtesgaden because holy cow, the food that they have here is incredible. Like, they have about every variety of pretzel that you can possibly imagine, and they look absolutely delicious. So I guess that everyone has their own particular style. For me personally, I'm a little bit more of an outdoorsy person. I don't wear bright colors, all earth tones. And with that in mind, I feel like this is something that I need in my home. So the town of Berchtesgaden has just gone completely to 11 when it comes to the Christmas spirit. And I don't even know what in the heck is going on here, but it looks festive. All right, we're now in the main square here in Berchtesgaden, and I'm going to wait here for a second for some of the local traffic to go by. So in May of 1945, contrary to popular belief, it wasn't the 101st Airborne Division that was the first in Berchtesgaden. It was actually the 3rd Infantry Division. And there was a really famous photo that was taken right here in this spot, where you can see these infantrymen mounted up on this tank. Of course, at the time, this was a mural for the Great War from 1914 to 1918, and you can see in the years since it's been modified to include the Second World War. On some of those earlier videos here in Berchtesgaden, I honestly can't remember if I showed this or not, but you can see all of these wreaths that have been laid out. Well, this is a memorial with the names of men who served in the First World War and in the Second World War, who were, I assume, from this area, and who I'm also assuming died in the war. So here are some more names over here from the Second World War. We have the First World War names here in the middle. And then over here, some more from the Second World War. right, so that's a little bit more from right here in Berchtesgaden. Such a cool town, especially at Christmas time, man. This place is amazing. Now, one other thing that I want to give you a heads up about before we duck out of here. Perhaps over the past few years on History Traveler, maybe you've watched this series and have had the thought, man, I wish this guy would just stop yapping and just show me where he's at. Well, we have a brand new spin-off channel that we are kicking off this season called History Traveler Walking Tours, where we are going to be coming to places just like this, and just as the name implies, we're going to be walking the ground through sites that are of historic and cultural significance. So the link to the new channel is going to be in the description. So go there, be sure you subscribe to the channel and hit notifications so you can get alerts when all of the new content comes out. And yeah, hope that you enjoy this new addition to the History Underground universe.